I will take my white coat off now. We're now talking about your spiritual heart. I stole that story, of course, from the scripture lesson, from the Great Commandment. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your being, with all your strength, with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. I thought we should work through some of the words of this scripture. Mind, we understand what that is. You know where that is. Strength, that suggests something real that you can touch. That's your body. Your being, everything you are, that's tangible. But heart, I don't think he means the four chambers of your heart, or the valves, or the blood vessels. I think he means something different. I think he means your spiritual heart, and that's harder for us to understand, because I think that's a very complex word. I think there are many aspects to it. I think there's a philosophical aspect to our spiritual hearts, our purpose in life, our meaning in life. I think there's an emotional aspect. We talk about being brokenhearted. There's an aspect of love and connection. There certainly, I think, is a relational aspect. This isn't about one person. It's about our relation to others in the context of today's message, our relation to God. And, most important, there's a behavioral aspect. There's some activity caused by a healthy spiritual heart. It requires some action. So let's see, can we apply the same 5 rules that we apply to our physical hearts to our spiritual hearts? Let's see. Can we recognize the symptoms of an unhealthy heart spiritually? I'm going to invite you to look at that photograph. Look at the colors, the posture, the angles, the composition. Think in your mind, what words come to you from that photograph? What symptoms come to mind? Sometimes a picture tells 1,000 words, and I think in our own minds we can think of even more symptoms of an unhealthy heart. We need to recognize those and know that there is an avenue for help. How about step number 2? Now, how's he going to do this? Choose your parents wisely. Well, I just changed the words a little bit, and I'll say, well, parents, parent wisely. I'll share with you the results of a study from Switzerland about 12 years ago, and they asked the question, what influence does parents going to church have on the future of their children going to church when they grow up? And the answer is pretty impressive, not unexpected. If both parents go to church, a high proportion, up to 3 out of 4, of their children will go to church when they're adults. If neither parent goes to church, pretty unlikely that the children will. But this is very interesting. If the father goes but the mother doesn't, a lot of the kids will go to church. If the father does not go to church, very few children will attend church as adults. Interesting. We have more than our biological family, though. We have a church family. Now, it's a challenge sometimes to bring your kids to church. And I'll tell you the story of a woman. She was a single mom, and she had a 5-year-old, and they were coming to church regularly, and it was great. But then she was invited to join the choir. So she was up here, and as 5-year-old boys will do, left alone, he was causing a ruckus. And this was getting to be an embarrassment, so she had the idea, well, I'll ask his grandfather to come and sit with him. And so Granddad would sit next to the boy. The problem was, Granddad would fall asleep and snore, and so she felt bad about that. So she had the idea, and she said, Timmy, I'll promise you 50 cents if you keep Granddad awake during the sermon. The sermon's going along. She hears from the corner of the church the familiar snore of Granddad. At the end of the service, she says, Timmy, I promise you 50 cents if you keep Granddad awake. He says, yeah, Mom, but Granddad gave me $1 to let him sleep. that get-together a week ago today. We had an observance, memorial service for my uncle, who died a few months ago. It was just family. It was informal at the gravesite. My father was officiating. And he said something to me that really struck me. He said, at the end, we're surrounded by family. I looked around and I saw my parents, I saw my wife and kids, my uncles, my brothers, their wives, my nieces and nephews. But I saw some others too. I saw Matt's girlfriend and my nephew's girlfriend, and I realized that our family is growing. And our church family is like that too, isn't it? Our church family evolves and grows, and we welcome new people in, and they become our family.